The Lost Road Trip. Part 1. The Detour. It was just another day on the road trip. 4 of us packed in a car, halfway through a weekend getaway. But it felt like we were all getting restless. Liam, the adventurous one of us all, glanced at his phone, smirking. "I've got a shortcut," he said. "It'll save us about 40 minutes. It was a simple suggestion, a small detour off the highway, just a thin gray line on Liam's phone screen. "It'll be faster," he assured us, but the road wasn't on any map. No name, no number, just a fading line on the map that only Liam could see. We laughed it off. We trusted him. But that was mistake number 1. I should have asked why it wasn't labeled. The further we drove, the quieter it got. The trees seemed to close in, and the road became narrower. We passed a couple of old farms, the kind where no one seems to live anymore, the kind of place where you feel like you've stepped into a forgotten time. No cars on the road, no streetlights, just the hum of the engine and the distant rustling of the trees. "Liam," I said, "are you sure about this road?" He didn't answer, but his smirk never faded. That's when we saw it. A sign that said, "Welcome to Blackridge." The town seemed to just appear out of nowhere, like it had been hiding in the shadows all along. We didn't even notice the road leading to it, but here we were, driving straight through the heart of it. It looked old, like something you would only read about in an abandoned town history book. Something frozen in time. Part 2. Strange Welcome. We parked at a small, rundown gas station. The sign was barely visible, flickering every few seconds. No one else was around, except for a lone figure behind the counter. The gas station attendant waved us over. Passing through, he asked, his smile a little too wide, a little too friendly. We nodded, a little uneasy. "We need directions," Liam said, trying to keep the mood light. But the man didn't stop smiling. The town was strange. The buildings were dilapidated but still standing. Everything felt like it was frozen, like a time capsule waiting to be opened. As we drove deeper into Blackridge, every street looked the same. Old houses, empty streets, nothing out of the ordinary. And yet there was something off. People stared at us from the windows, too still, too quiet. We stopped at a diner for a break, hoping to get some sense of where we were. The waitress smiled at us too broadly, but didn't say much. The menu was strange. Only a few items, each one labeled with an old date, almost as though the restaurant had never updated it. Then, as we were finishing, an old man walked by our table. His eyes met mine, cold and piercing. "Get out while you still can," he whispered before disappearing into the back. We laughed it off at first, but the unease was setting in. Part 3. Something off. It was around dusk when we started to notice it. The same diner kept appearing. We thought we must have taken a wrong turn, but when we turned around, we saw it again. Same flickering sign, same empty parking lot. Liam insisted it was nothing, but it didn't feel right. We all felt it. We tried to leave the town, but every turn we made took us straight back to the same spot, the same diner, the same gas station. And no matter what direction we drove in, we always ended up where we started. It was like the town was following us. Liam slammed his hand on the steering wheel. "This isn't happening," he said, his voice cracking. And then we realized this wasn't just a wrong turn. This wasn't a mistake. We were trapped. We passed the same road signs, the same abandoned buildings. It was like we were in a loop, a cycle that wouldn't break. Part 4. The Loop. We tried again. We drove out of town, straight down the same road, determined to escape. But no matter which way we turned, we always ended up back at the same place. Every single time. Even when we thought we were on the main highway again, we were back at the town's entrance. And that's when I saw him again, the gas station attendant, standing outside, watching us. We were no longer strangers to him. He knew we were stuck, but he didn't care. We were just part of the town now. This wasn't a place for people. It was a prison for the living. The locals were trapped too, stuck in a cycle of their own, and they weren't going anywhere. Neither were we. Part 5, the figure. And then we saw it. A figure standing in the middle of the road. Too still, too tall. It wasn't moving until the headlights hit it. Then it stepped forward. Wrong. Everything about it was wrong. Its arms bent too far, its head tilted unnaturally like it wasn't meant to be seen. It didn't walk, it glided, closer. Every step felt wrong, like the world itself was glitching. It wasn't human, it wasn't a person, it was something else, something that had been waiting for us. And I realized then, we weren't leaving. Part 6, the truth. I found a journal. It wasn't ours. It belonged to someone who had passed through Blackridge before, someone who had made the same mistake. It was filled with warnings, the same road, the same town, the same ending. The journal spoke of the loop, how no one had ever left, how they tried. But once you enter, you become part of it. It's like a trap for the lost. And then the truth hit me. We weren't the first, and we wouldn't be the last. Part 7, the choice. We sat there, in the car. The air felt thick. The journal warned us, but it was too late. We knew what needed to be done. The ritual. One of us had to stay behind. One of us had to break the loop to distract it long enough for the rest of us to escape. But the thought of it was impossible. None of us spoke. We looked at each other, the reality of our situation sinking in. Liam was the first to step out of the car. "I'll do it," he said, voice cracking. But I saw something in his eyes. Fear, yes, but also relief. Relief that he wouldn't have to make the choice for anyone else. Relief that he wouldn't have to be trapped. Liam walked towards the town. Slowly, deliberately, we stayed in the car, watching him fade into the darkness. The town swallowed him whole, and the rest of us were left in silence. Part 8, escape. We didn't know what happened to Liam. We didn't stop to find out. We just drove. Faster than we ever had. The town behind us began to dissolve, like smoke fading in the wind. The road stretched ahead, the trees thinning, the night breaking apart. For the first time, we saw daylight. We made it, or so we thought. The town was gone. The forest was gone. Everything felt right again. The world was waking up. But when we pulled over to grab some coffee at a gas station, I saw him, the man from the gas station, standing behind the counter, his smile wide, unchanged. I couldn't breathe. I turned to the others. They were as shocked as I was. It was the same gas station, the same town. And then I understood. Part 9, the twist. We never left. The road that took us to Blackridge, it was always the same. A road of lost souls. A loop that keeps you coming back, no matter how hard you try to escape. We thought we made it out, but we had already become part of the town. And now I'm the one waiting, in the same diner, behind the same counter, smiling at the new travelers, the ones who make the same mistake, the ones who take the detour. I see them come in. They don't know it yet, but I do. They'll learn soon enough. Everyone who stops here learns, because once you enter Blackridge, you can never leave. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons for more chilling tales.